the water wet, it's got gators in it.
Oh, yeah? Well, me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
They shouldn't have given you ashy blokes YouTube.
Cursed be the ground for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
What's up, boss? You believe that? You hold on. Oh no. Do you believe that? Huh? Oh no. Ah! Oh no. Come on. Do you believe?
All right, good people. All right, good people. I know. We're here for the train wreck, just like we were yesterday, okay? Everybody loves train wrecks and car accidents, right? Okay? And this is a train wreck, okay? But it just emphasizes what we've been saying. I'm gonna get that clip, okay? Where what's his name says, okay, I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me, okay? The mainstream political, the mainstream press has finally come down to our level. They're in here with us, okay? And their rules on the outside don't apply to the rules on the inside, okay? Okay, we were born in the dust, okay? They have to get accustomed to it. They're choking on it right now. Anyhow, Quentin's batting first, okay? Ricky, second. Jesse, what's going on? Batting third. Saint Cyr, what's up? Saint Cyr is in his exercise groove, man, trying to get into that winter grind, okay, for next summer. Luther, what's going on? Hurricane Greg, Adric, what's happening? Snowman, what's up? Batting ninth, okay. Eddie, what's happening? Kevin, what's up? Dr. Goodbar, what's going on? Oh, this is right on time for my conversation with Dr. Neil on Sunday. Okay. Probably so. The Waffle House King, Lavaris, what's going on? Sigma, what's going on? Female familiar headship, Tia San Johnson, according to phrase, some men can only see women as head in charge and won't accept another man questioning that leadership. I think the better quote, better concept for it is by Diane Stewart, which is Africana Kinship Network. Okay, that's probably the perfect thing because it actually comes from slavery. Shannon Green, what's going on? Ignatz, what's happening? Out of the fool's way. Okay, what you think the future for trucking look like? Trucking will be here. You may not. Okay, it just depends on how. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. Okay. When will Congress step out of the way and let self-driving trucks take over? It's not a matter if; it's a matter of when. So I would be making as much money as I can before the infrastructure gets in place, and planning my exit if I were you. John Smith, what's going on? Instant Media, Turtle Bitcoin, what's up? I'll be covering a response to the blowback later. Cool. Dre Day. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Well, the thing is, I know why. It's because black men don't like to be challenged. Barry Hamilton, what's up? Play Perry, what's going on? Big Mo, black male disrespect by Keisha's is seen as the highest level to include politics. Oh yeah, humiliation ritual. Okay, that's all they know. But it's good, man. They just give us more fuel. Fernando's, what's up? Henderson Bancroft, what's going on? Forever Blessed. Mark Bryant, what's happening? Big Trick, what's happening? Forever Blessed. Superstar Jay Quick, what's going on? Gundam, what's happening? Let's see. Age of Machines, what's going on? Palm Beach Mike. Independent POV, hello master teacher. My tech development with Theo has been great. My tech skills sharpening up as we speak. Can't wait to get my first certs and then a job. Okay. Study hard, man. Little Maple Leaf, what's up? I watched replay from yesterday. Any black men talk about women, it descends into madness. And then just talked about 8, 9s, and 10s, but never dealt with a. Yeah, they never even dealt with a 7. That's very true. That's very true. They never had one. A lot of men have never dealt with a 7. Okay, you know, a 6 is their highest. A lot of men think a 6 is a 10 is because that's all they've ever dealt with. Chaos, what's up? Michael, what's going on? Shannon Green, what's happening? Evolution is evolution. I've been okay. I'm not even gonna question it. Of course I am. Okay. Best book to read is, I would say, the Lucifer Principle. Okay, it's probably the best book to read if you want to really get a brief overview of evolutionary psychology. Okay. Babu, what's going on? Dr. Steele, what's happening? Gundam, what's going on? Rorschach from Watchmen. Yep, exactly, Gundam. I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me. Okay, yeah. That's what I feel. They try to avoid coming down to our level or down to the social level, but Donald Trump dragged them in, and they're here. Currently reading Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Okay, cool. Let me know what you learn. Rodney, what's happening? The Watcher. Good afternoon, sir. Black men need to stand with one another, that we can have different thoughts. We may not agree, but we can have our the thing is, it's all about options and opinions. Okay. Landon, what's going on? In a homemade sweat lodge, trying to sweat out the beginning of an infection. Okay. Make sure you drink your water. Make sure you drink your water. Make sure that you clear your bowels. Okay. My daughter had COVID, and the first thing I had to do was clear her. Once her bowels cleared, okay, the COVID kind of went away. Trying to catch it before sleep for the night shift. Got to make that money, Rodney. Mr. Donnie Mack, W. Hawkins. Book will be out soon. I want to send you a copy. Okay. I'm listening. What's happening? It doesn't matter. You actually violated by talking about the Queen. Okay. The God. Mike Love, what's happening? Champion Chuck. The ones that we can get are crazy. 7 and above that we can get, that a common man can get, are crazy because that's how they fall out. Because if not, they get snapped up by rich guys. I'll snap if correcting them is little dick energy. I'm hanging out with Bakiri. It seems like Bakiri must be Big D energy. Guess why we can't win? LOL. Yeah. For Dishi Morema, what's going on? DeAndre, what's happening? Usual business, what's happening? Landon, what's going on? King Pix, Pragmatic Prime, Passport OG, Hazley, what's going on? What's up, Big GS? What's the average amount one should contribute? 401k, in which company will it match? Oh, that's a whole different story, man. That is a whole sit down, okay? Don't know what you have, what your outlook is, where you're planning to live, yada, 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 okay? And try, especially in this environment where it's trying to catch a falling knife, okay? You have no idea where this dollar is going to land. Hopefully this is a non-rating scale event. Yeah, I don't think it will be. You know, if fact it starts to be, I'm start timing people out, which I don't like. When Dr. Ben Carson turned Republican, those ninjas talked about him like he was worse than a drug dealer, but we're not supposed to criticize that ghetto ass Jazmine Crockett. They can kick rocks. Yeah, they don't know, man, because they think that we will fall in line like everybody else does. Said ninja person can, if you can afford it, mark out 401k contribution. If you can't, do as much as you expenses can afford. But it's a big question. Well, 401k versus what? Okay, versus what? But the thing is, with taxes and stuff like that, you max it out. Okay. That's why an individual question like that is hard to answer. Yeah, do at least what they match. That's true. Depends on who you work for. That's why it's hard to say. Pookie's nephew Ray Ray Jr. All right, that sounds all right. That's a troll name, man. So y'all keep an eye on him. Caveman Talk. What's going on? Crockett is like a Tyler Perry movie. That's true. Okay. Landon. What's going on? Dell 4 SEO. They said they're silent while she talks shit about Steve. Uh, and they claim there's no matriarchy. They always, well, it doesn't exist, right? Okay. What is it? Let me see if I can find it. Okay.
You never knew. That was his power. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Okay. Do I think black people can their own town or village? Not anymore. In another country, no, you can. Okay, you can if it's coordinated with the locals. Okay, if it's coordinated with the locals, you can. But the thing is, it's not going to be separate. Why do you go to another country to start a town or village instead of integrating with the country? Makes no sense to me. Why even go there? Incognito Blue, what's going on? High dividend ETF says, well, there's a lot of ways to do it. Okay. The Tiffany Cross fall in line lobstack message a few years back still irks me. That's why we use it. How's Dark News looking? I just have to put it up, man. There's tons of stuff. I just have to put it up. True Godfather. Gundam, what's happening? Lionel Player One, but just what do you think about the ceasefire between Israel and Palestine? I hope it holds. Can you trust Netanyahu? Teddy Bear Love, Tyler Perry creation. Malika Wilson, the matriarch is just a like Fight Club, and no, main with Fight Club is nobody talks about Fight Club. Very true. Um, uh, how's your evil twin doing, VHS? He's doing. Actually, he's very, very irritated, man. I have a couple of things I got to pre-record I have to put up, man, where I actually ranted. Okay, Um, one is about the immaturity of black women and their dating patterns, featuring Portia Williams, and the other one's going to be what's the other one going to be? I got to remember what it is. Oh, about black women complaining about a mating strategy. Okay. No fear, Jahir. What's going on? Okay. But that's going to be on my Black Pill Gnostic page. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get busy. Okay. Let's start with this one. Okay, the one that everybody's heard. It's going to be a short because it captures the moment, even though we probably could play the whole rant, but I think the short will do it. You might play the rant later, okay? Shout out to Anton for clipping it.
He's got to deal with black woman issues
Oh my
writ
God.
large and whatever self-hate exists within him.
That is self-hate before
I've
a black
never
woman.
seen a clip of him where he actually praises a black woman.
That's what I'm saying. He's got black woman issue. He's got to.
Now, he has praised black women, especially in sports. He's done that before, okay? And black women in that sector have praised him for allowing him to give them entree and a chance inside that sector. But the thing is, they only hear what they black women only hear what they want to hear.
Deal with, but
For those who are listening, that was Stephen A. Smith commentating about Jazmine Crockett's lack of work. For context, there was a poll that was recently done, and Jazmine Crockett's approval numbers amongst the American people rival Barack Obama's
Bullshit.
in 2008.
Bullshit.
So just for context.
What is this poll and where was it done and who was spoken to and how many people and what's the sample size? And did they poll everybody or did they just poll us? Stop, man. Just stop. Let me hear the rest of this nonsense.
He is on an island unto himself.
or
Because people
caping for some.
because
other
people
element.
because people see her largely working on our behalf. And I also want to say we recently had Jazmine Crockett on. It was on my solo pod, and Jazmine is on the show talking about having to go get fit for a bulletproof vest. So this is not the time for this.
Yeah.
Promise you, nobody gives a flying F about Jazmine Crockett
True.
and trying to take her out. She is a threat to nobody, and nobody like she's just she's a talking head, to put it lightly. And I hate when these suckers, and this is what we talk about when it comes to simping, right? Because they'll say something like, "Oh man, I've never seen him praised. They must got a problem with black women." No. That's not necessarily true. Or maybe they're just criticizing your talking points because they don't necessarily rock with what it is that you stand for from a political perspective. It has nothing to do with celebrating a black woman or anything like that. Stop it, bro. And then, like, if that's the strongest argument that you have against Stephen A., we got a bigger problem on our hands.
And it is very dangerous for this. So I hear you even on the danger, even on campuses, but I wanted to bring this in because this is the kind of messaging they're hearing on their sports platforms, on talk radio, all the time. There is a growing divide between black men and black women.
Oh my God.
And I think that some of them are also leaning more conservative in their talking points.
She's a congresswoman from Texas, and Texas has this open carry law. Governor Abbott is such a dangerous, problematic
he sets
person.
up a false argument.
Yes.
How much attention is this taken away from you getting whatever you need for your district? The Republicans control the House of Representatives,
Right.
the Senate, and the White House. They not letting her get ish for her districts. And so the best she can do right now, not just for her district, but for the country, is to speak up and hold them to account at every single level.
This is the worst ever, bro. And I can't wait to break this down in its entirety, but I can't stand a simp.
He's got to deal with black woman issues
Oh my
writ
God.
large and whatever self-hate exists within them.
That is self-hate before
I've
a black
never
woman.
I thought he had the clip.
There's only three attributes.
He's got to deal with black woman issues.
I thought he had the clip of Little Dick Energy. Okay, let me see if I can find it. because that's what I really wanted. I wanted her going off because that summed it up. And then we can get into. We actually get into it. Nah, it's Anton. Yeah, okay, it's not the one that. I thought I had a short of it. Okay. I didn't want to go through the whole thing. I didn't want to go through the whole thing. Okay, let's go. Let's go ahead and pull the actual one. See if we can actually find her. Tiffany Cross doing it. I actually want to go through the. Let's go through the whole thing. So this is only like 9 minutes. So let's go through the whole thing. Because I was trying to find the meme because I didn't want to go too long. But let's go through the whole thing. Stephen A. Smith out of his depths, Native Land podcast, okay? And let's get the whole meaning of it, okay?
I think this is a really good opportunity. We talked about the invasion of cities and colleges. I want to throw to one more example. Someone who teeters on the edge quite a bit shows up talking out of both sides of his mouth. He had this to say recently about Jazmine Crockett. Sometimes you get attacked by your own.
Now Jazmine Crockett chooses to express herself. I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work.
He's got to deal with black woman issues.
Oh my God.
Writ large, and whatever self-hate exists within him.
That is self-hate.
I've never seen a clip of him where he actually.
The political scene in Dallas has been comical. We're oversaturated with Crockett, but no one mentions Eric Johnson, the black male mayor of Dallas who switched to the Republican Party. Because that's an embarrassment.
He praises a black woman.
That's what I'm saying. He's got a black woman issue he's got to deal with.
For those who are listening, that was Stephen A. Smith commentating about Jazmine Crockett's lack of work. For context, there was a poll that was recently done, and Jazmine Crockett's approval numbers amongst the American people rival Barack Obama's in 2008. So just for context, he is on an island unto himself. Because people see her largely working on our behalf. And I also want to say, we recently had Jazmine Crockett on. It was on my solo pod. And Jazmine is on the show talking about having to go get fit for a bulletproof vest. So this is not the time for this.
Yeah.
And it is very dangerous for this. So I hear you even on the danger, even on campuses, but I wanted to bring this in because this is the kind of messaging they're hearing on their sports platforms, on talk radio, all the time. There is a growing divide between black men and black women.
Oh my God.
And I think that some of them are also leaning more conservative.
Get behind your women and the Democratic Party. That's what they're saying, okay? The same shit they said to Ice Cube, the same shit that Tiffany Cross said, siding with the oppressor, okay? The same shit, same rhetoric.
The congresswoman from Texas, and Texas has this open carry law. Governor Abbott is such a dangerous, problematic
he sets up a false argument.
Yes.
How much attention is this taken away from you getting whatever you need for your district? The Republicans control the House of Representatives, the Senate and the White House. They not letting her get ish for her districts. And so the best she can do right now, not just for her district, but for the country, is to speak up and hold them to account at every single level.
She does.
Are there black men that's listening to Stephen A. Bakari?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
but they would take that and take it
people who like
white men.
Yeah, and they think that that Jazmine Crockett talks with her neck.
No, I'm not just saying
too loud and snaps her fingers and all that, and they caricature her like he's doing.
Yeah.
And so my point though is that I didn't like the back and forth with Jazmine Crockett and Nancy Mace or whoever it was, right? But
Nancy Mace is the one that got violent. She was the one that said, "Let's take it outside."
I know them both
Marjorie
very well.
Taylor Greene.
I know them both very well, and that just because I was in the legislature, so I look at that totally different. However, I will tell you that there is a through line between the Ice Cubes and the Jason Whitlocks and the Stephen A. Smiths.
See, now they're trying to tell us who are the enemy, right? Okay. Through line with Ice Cube Ice Cube has nothing to do with Stephen A. or Whitlock. Nothing. Okay? Nothing. But the thing is, they got to go back to Ice Cube because that was the black. That's when the blackmail political agenda actually started. That's how they're trying to brand him. Little Dick Energy. That comment was revealed how low class that pod actually is. Well, the thing is, there ain't no difference between professional black women that are supposed to be out front and speak differently, and a sister in the street. She sounded like a ghetto chick by saying that. Okay. Ain't no difference. I told you, with black women and the gynocracy, ain't no difference than the high class chick that has $1 billion and a low class chick that don't have a penny. Okay, they all sound the same. They all sound the same.
And these individuals, and Ice Cube may be slightly different than the other two, but
yes,
these individuals.
See that's how come it started. Ice Cube tried to bring black men and women together to get a black political agenda for black people. Okay, but y'all can't stand Ice Cube because he doesn't want to fall in line behind y'all.
Have been around since we have been on this freedom struggle. There have always been individuals out there which exhibit behaviors of charlatans,
including you,
who utilize, some people are in it for the change and some people are in it for the change, right? And I think that that's indicative. And they find the easiest path to the front of the line. And Stephen A. Smith is someone who doesn't have the depth to talk about House oversight or the appropriations process, right? And how you're able to bring resources back to your community, or what Jazmine is doing. So he rather lampoon her, or instead of having a constructive conversation. And so I've said what I've had to say about Stephen A. Smith in my book anywhere I can. I don't have a lot of use for him in the political dialogue. I think that there are individuals who he matriculated with at Winston-Salem State University that are extremely disappointed about the man he's become.
It's so disheartening to me. It's frustrating, one, because anytime we speak on this, it's like we, man haters and all this. But I feel such confidence in black men. I've never bought into the idea.
Bullshit. No, you haven't. Stop. Adam Clayton Powell was able to expedite legislation for his district, notwithstanding who controlled the White House or Congress. Lacefront Crockett should know better. All she has is there being a minstrel show. That's all she has, okay? They're really training to get black men on the planet. Yeah, of course they are, but it's not going to work, okay? Got to remember, what did I say? Okay? We're not in there with them. They're in here with us, okay? And they're going to learn that. They're going to learn today. They're going to learn today, okay? They just fell into the trap. They don't realize it. They just fell into this trap. What she just said is going to get clipped and passed around, and she should know better, okay? But she'll learn, okay? She's going to learn.
That all these black men are voting for Trump. Like, they vote overwhelmingly Democrat. We're pretty much in line with each other. What you all are saying is no, they are.
You weren't saying that 2 years ago. You weren't saying that in 2024. You weren't saying that shit. Now you are.
And the data shows that there have been inroads among black men. I want to ask why, because it is frustrating to me, and it feels heartbreaking, to be honest, because we are.
It feels, okay? I don't care who they are, how much education they have, how much experience they have. I feel, okay? Anytime a black woman talks about how she feels, logic is getting ready to go out the window.
Impacted by this system as well. It's not a matter of who's impacted worse. We're impacted differently. We sit at the intersection of being black and being women.
Intersectional feminism, right there, 101. Okay, that tells you all you need to know about Tiffany Cross and politics. Intersectionalism 101. Day after day, we see high-class black women humiliate black men for having an opinion. Do they not see how these actions just push black men towards the manosphere? No, they don't. Okay. No, they don't. I've given up on them trying to see anything. Basically, their worldview will not allow that, okay? Black men are beneath them. And these two guys don't help, okay? Bakari Sellers and the other guy, they don't help because they placate the mama.
And so when men are frustrated with this system, it feels like they fight us. And I would put Stephen A. Smith in that category.
It feels like they fight us, okay? That's emotion speaking. Okay, she's being real right now. Okay, that mask is dropped. Now she's pissed and her mask is dropped. This is Tiffany Cross from the inside out. So this is not the professional mask that she would normally carry.
Like, I'm mad at y'all for having joy. I'm mad at y'all for having success. I'm mad at y'all for surpassing us on college campuses.
See?
And so it's a small sect of.
See, all that crap that he bring, we mad at them for having this success. Okay, we're mad at them. We're jealous of them. We're envious of them. Okay, they're projecting.
Men that are so angry and hurt that they're willing to align with the people who oppress us.
See,
what am I getting wrong?
They're willing to align with the people that oppress us. He's still saying the same shit, okay? She ain't changed. She ain't learned. She ain't changed. They've had their behind whipped and knowing that what you said has been repeated and is negative, but look at him. He's putting his head down, right? Because she going off and he's trying to bring Rainer in, and she has no idea what the fuck she does. That's why he has his eyes down and his head down, right? He hears it.
Because if you listen to Stephen A. Smith and you find anything other than some absolute pure self-hating little dick energy nonsense from that
now watch this, okay? I want you to watch Angela Rye's face, okay? I'm gonna slow it down just a bit so you can see it, right? Watch Angela Rye's face when she says that. I'm gonna slow it down to 0.75 so you can actually see her reaction, okay? Even though it's gonna be a little muffled, okay? Watch Angela Rye's face when she says that.
People who oppress us. What am I getting wrong? Because if you listen to Stephen A. Smith and you find anything other than some absolute pure self-hating little dick energy nonsense.
Look at Angela Rye's face, okay? When she said little dick energy nonsense. Look at her face, okay? Look at her face. Look at her face when she says that. She knows that Tiffany Cross just stepped in it, okay? Politically, she knows that Tiffany Cross just stepped in it. She's like, oh shit, okay? Right there, she knows that Tiffany Cross has just stepped on a landmine, okay? And she can't do anything about it. And they're going to spend the rest of the time trying to make up for that. Watch.
And from that half-witted idiot basking in the non-existent rays of his own ignorance, it is sad to me that
they're trying to calm her down because she's going off and she's fucking everything up right about now, okay? Whatever agency, whatever goodwill she thought she had, it just went the fuck out the window. Guess what? That part, we'll talk about Stephen A. Smith and little dick energy and going off on black men, that's going to be clipped and passed around and managed for the next 2 years, okay? You thought that get behind the Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed, Kevin Samuels quoting Tariq Nasheed following stuff, quote was actually going to get passed around. Oh my goodness, okay? All I can say is when your enemy gives you a sword, go ahead and cut their heads off, right? Okay? She just gave you a sword. Blessing to all the brothers with little dick energy. Dr. Rifa, this is fast becoming my evil addiction. One needs a very strong substance added to their stiff drink. Be just Habari Ghani. Okay. Appreciate you. Oh, what about the ex-president just died, man? I had a friend of mine, a couple of friends over there were actually sad about that. So, but I don't know anything about him. So, but he just died at 80. I think he's ex president of Kenya. And you can see the look on his face. They're trying to rein her in, right? Because this is not what you actually want to present. And black women can't help themselves, okay?
Gets an audience of black men. Why aren't black men right now saying Stephen A. Smith? We banning him. We not listening to his podcast.
She get into sister mode and she cannot help herself. Okay, look at her, and they're trying to rein her in.
We're not watching his show anymore. That's what black women do. We organize.
Yeah, but you asked the question why?
Yes,
he's trying to rein her in. Okay, he's trying to rein her in. So now she's gonna get to reflect on what she's been saying. Now she knows. Oh shit, I gotta shut up.
Tell me why.
By the way, I love the usage of adjectives.
I'm sure I messed it up somewhere.
You did. Oh no, baby. No, you didn't mess it up. Oh, you're perfect. Okay, you're perfect. No, she knows. No, she knows she fucked up. Okay, she knows she fucked up. She couldn't help herself. Now, Doc, if you want to come up, man, just let me know. This is BMI. Doc, you can. Doc, she just gave you ammo. Okay, she just gave you more ammo. Yeah, their hatred for black men shows it. Their hatred and low key disrespect just showed in this one little section. Okay, Tiffany Cross just showed you the hatred and disrespect that black women have for black men. Okay. Yeah. Now she's reflecting. Oh shit. Now she's dropping back in professional mode. Oh, I fucked up. They're gonna get a call from iHeart. No, they're not. It's gonna bring up iHeart's ratings. Okay. Yeah, he's trying to dial her back in.
But the answer to the question why is kind of twofold. Black men showed up. We were the third largest demographic voting for. You had black.
And what does that get you?
Women. You had Jews as a collective, and then you had black men, somewhere between 74, 76% voting for Kamala Harris. And so, yeah, it's not a large number. We still are there. But the slippage you've seen is twofold. The first is that there's been no party, no group, which for the past 20, 30 years has taken the time to listen to black men.
Now you're forcing him. You're forcing him to rein you back in and admit the truth, okay? He didn't want to do this, but the thing is, you fucked up so badly, now you got to play cleanup. Now he's got to do something he did not want to do on this podcast, which is fight the propaganda, okay? He didn't want to do that, but now he has to. It's our job to make the slippage grow. We don't have to, they're doing that on their own, okay? Yeah, I'm sure Doc, man, okay, is loving this, okay?
And many times we are spoken to about policy. That policy revolves around things like criminal justice.
Mm-hmm.
But marijuana. But very rarely do we have fulsome conversations about the black men who are out there struggling to pay for early childhood education, child support.
Yes.
Right. You know how that
wages.
You know, when the craziest thing is when you get locked up for child support, do you know that your child support continues to grow?
They don't care. They don't care. Look at her. Oh shit. What did I just do? Look at her face now, okay? Look at her face now. Okay? I said, oh shit, what did I just do?
Like
wow.
it's
you look at it. Now look at her face, okay? Look at her face. Now you just went off for about 2 or 3 minutes going in on black men and what they ain't doing right, and now he's trying to name all the stuff that you're not getting behind, okay?
Your driver's license gets suspended.
It's an unbreakable cycle.
It's an unbreakable cycle, right? I mean, just opportunities, STEM opportunities. So just having a holistic, fulsome conversation around black men is something that hasn't happened. The other thing is, which is a question that we have to answer, and hopefully we'll untangle it over the next, 100 episodes.
Certainly while you're here.
Certainly while I'm here is, there are a lot of black men who question whether or not they have the ability to breathe and lead in an era of black romance.
Oh, that's the manosphere, right? Okay. That's the manosphere. That is the whole point of the manosphere, right? Okay. That's the whole point of the manosphere, okay? We're questioning that ourselves, right?
I would say, what I would add, because I disagree on the latter point, but I do agree to this one, which is I think black men want the bag too. And we on the Democratic side don't talk enough, if at all,
or listen
about how I'm gonna help you prosper.
Yeah, exactly. They don't. They tell black women that, okay? They give them money. They give them all kind of stuff, education and grants and all kind of stuff. That black men are left out of that conversation, okay? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That woman is a waste of pretty. She really is.
What's prosperity for us look like? So if at every turn you're the deficit end of the equation, every turn somebody's got to do something for you, you're not making room. And one thing that Trump's talking points appear to do is to put you on track or on alignment with getting a bag. I don't think that is wholesale widespread.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith.
Now, Dr. Neal, when you're going on this one, man, make sure that you know where the line is, man. We don't want to hear no more of that trouble that you was in a few years ago, okay? You got to know where the line is, okay? You can go off, but know where the line is.
I think he does have issues with black women, but I also think the brother's also trying to get and maintain and grow a bag. And he's similar to a lot of the black Republicans who ideologically could not articulate anything worth mentioning, are out here caping because they're not in competition with Bakari Sellers or Andrew Gillum. But they're at the front of the line on that side because they're willing to say the things that white people think and don't get to say with license, but they got you, Cape and Clown, who's willing to say it,
Right.
and they get rewarded
But
for it.
he looks like money. He smells like money. He talks
All of
loud.
it.
He knows LeBron. Even
All
though
of
LeBron can't stand him,
Yeah.
so he's there. He walks with a swag. He went to an HBCU, so he's the perfect messenger. And so yeah, when people come to him because he looks like he doesn't look. Black men are always in the mode of survival, always. And he looks like somebody who's thriving. So you're more inclined to listen to someone who has made it to some
an
point.
aspiration
It's an
that we all
aspirational
have.
thing.
Yeah.
Native Land Pod is a production.
You got two people that are at the front of the line talking shit about you, okay? Okay? They can't check your sisters. Cannot check them, okay? He did a soft check. Well, you know, sister, it's not like that, and yada, yada, yada. She just realized she fucked up, okay? She realized she realized at this point, she realized that she fucked up, okay? Where is it? Let me go back to my history. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Okay. Let's go. This is the longer version of it. Okay. Oh, he's on live. Wait a minute. Is he on? No. Okay. No, that's me. Okay. I was gonna say he's on live. No, he's not on live. Okay. This is Stephen A. Smith's longer version in response to the blowback. Okay. Dr. Marifa says, we'll fill you in on the ex-prime minister. That disrespect of black men, though, is wild, but expected. Unfortunately, I will try to find my little D energy in the meantime. Oh, man. Dr. Marifa with this stuff with Qatar and Iran and Gaza, man, that is, I know you got a full-time job right now, man. On top of the, on top of the World Economic Forum going on right now, and then on top of the Gen Z shit that's happening right now, man, they should be paying you double. Okay, they should pay you double. John Smith says maybe it's not a little dick energy that the issue. Maybe it's their worn out Grand Canyon boxes that's the real problem. Yeah, that is a problem. Okay, it's more like their Grand Canyon behinds. Anyhow, let's see Stephen A's response to it. Okay, this one's like 40 minutes, and we're gonna go through a little bit of it. Let's see, is it sped up? Yes, it is sped up. So we're gonna go through this. This is his response to that. So which is a broader thing. We could have played the first one, but we're not. Miss Cross has a dead box. I don't know, man. Crazy broads like her normally have good coochie. That's probably her problem. She probably does have good coochie, but she crazy as fuck.
Straight Shooter with Stephen A.
And she mean as hell. Okay. Which I don't. That's why I don't believe she's married, because her and Angela Rye are not married because they're mean as hell.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the special edition of Straight Shooter with yours truly, Stephen A. Smith, coming at you as I love to do every single week. Normally, I'm coming at you on just Wednesday nights, what have you, talking about politics and stuff like that. But I felt compelled to come on the air a little bit earlier this week after what I've had to endure this weekend. What I had to endure this weekend were an abundance of people talking a whole lot of stuff about me because they did not like what I had to say about Representative Jazmine Crockett. She is a Democrat out of Texas. Texas's 30th congressional district. Her work, and her verbiage and all of that stuff speaks for itself. And she has become, a big time public figure in essence, not just as a representative, but speaking out on a plethora of issues involving the current administration and the White House, et cetera, et cetera. And I made some noise last week because I had the temerity, the unmitigated gall to say this about Representative Crockett when talking about the state of our politics in the midst of a government shutdown, by the way, that has unfolded since October 1st. Take a listen to what I had to say last week, please. You Jazmine Crockett or somebody like that. Ladies, I respect intelligent women, no doubt. But how Jazmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him since the Republicans have the Senate and the House. But maybe if I'm willing to work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituency. Because like Joe Manchin said, he's there to represent, or was there for 15 years to represent, the people of West Virginia. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas. I don't know. Maybe that just sounds ignorant because it's so simple. But it ain't that damn complicated. We make it complicated. Damn, it's frustrating. It really can be. And all the verbiage and all the nonsense that I've heard over the last few days is why it can get exhausting. Because nothing frustrates me more than when people have the truth at their disposal and they choose, maybe not lie, maybe not even embellish, but allow their emotions to usurp facts, and all of a sudden want to use that as an excuse to label me as being something and doing something I'm neither not nor have I done, which in this case is disrespecting Representative Crockett out of Texas, who, by the way, has had an invite to this show for weeks, by the way. Governors Josh Shapiro and Spencer Cox came on this show. Senator Lindsey Graham came on this show. Joe Manchin, now retired, came on this show. Bill O'Reilly, Bill Maher came on this show, okay? And more coming. And she has an invite. And AOC has an invite. Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic House leader, he just was on this show. I've invited Jazmine Crockett. I have nothing but respect for her. I just disagree on what she's making headlines for because I think it's counterproductive to the ultimate goal. But yet, here we are. And the word disrespect comes in, and people try to engage with words, you know, like disrespect and implying misogyny and all of this other nonsense. Stop it. Stop it. Can we be grown-ups and deal with what the real issue is involving what I said? Willie D.
All the flying monkeys come out. All the Sims come out, okay? As the concubines come out and protect mama. Got to protect mama, bulldog for mama, pit bull for mama at all costs, right? At all costs. All of them, they all line up at all costs. And because you can't say that about black women. Can't talk about black women.
Roland Martin, Bakari Sellers, and Angela Rye, who I have profound respect for. I mean, the list goes on and on with all of these people. I don't have their names in front of me. To my producer that texted it to me, I don't have my phone on me right now, so I apologize for not having those names in front of me. But what are we talking about? How's it disrespectful to say what I said? Could you just disagree? Could we just say, yo, Stephen A., I disagree with you. Here's why. We got Willie D. Put up that quote, please. He's putting out quotes or text or tweets about me. Let's see that again. Stephen A. Smith taking shots at Jazmine Crockett ain't just messy, it's weak. Dude is sitting on one of the biggest mics in America, and instead of using it to uplift, he's tearing down a black woman who's out here putting in real work. That ain't critique, that's betrayal. Jazmine Crockett ain't the problem. She's the kind of woman who walks into rooms full of snakes and makes the snakes flinch. Meanwhile, Stephen's showing what happens when the paycheck gets louder than the principal. That's sucker shit, straight up, end quote. Wow, Willie D. You sure are uplifting. I mean, I got to be touched. That was inspirational. Really, that really, really was. That was inspirational. I'm doing sucker shit. That's what you call inspirational? That's what you call uplifting? Really? Now, I haven't heard everything that Roland Martin said, D.L. Hughley had to say, and all the other names that I mentioned, but I'm sure it's along the same line. None but respect. First of all, I'm going to be very, very careful about anything that I say about Roland Martin because he's a friend. I'm going to be careful about anything that I say about D.L. Hughley because I have respect for that man. We've spoken a few months ago. I got nothing but love for him. I am concerned about him not making people laugh and smile as much anymore as he used to because he's more of an activist now than a comedian, but that's a choice and that's his right. And nothing but love for him and respect. And anybody else too. My issue with Bakari Sellers is how he talked about me without ever speaking out or reaching out because you don't like a position that I took before or whatever, but you want to come on and sell your book after. See, I don't play that nonsense. I don't like that. disagree with what I said, say why without all the other nonsense. Got enough respect. Willie D got over 1 million subscribers. Man, props to you. Doing your thing. Wishing you nothing but the best. Not getting into all that nonsense. But let's deal with what I was saying, please. Can we do that? Can we be real?
They can't be real because they got nothing else to sell, right? Okay? Got nothing to sell. The reason they're on us like that, you know, is real simple, right? Okay? What did he say? Okay? What was said? Okay?
I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go.
Got no place else to go, okay? They got no place else to go.
So let's take it. Let's take it back. Let's look at the resume of Jazmine Crockett, 30th Congressional District. By the way, the two senators that represent Texas is Senator John Cornyn and Ted Cruz, both Republicans. I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised.
Ninja person, if I get mentioned in public on that particular stage like that, okay, guess what? You and Theo gonna have to mail me some a double vest. I have no intention of going out like Charlie Kirk, at least not yet.
Okay, so you got them in Texas, and they're doing their thing, right? What are we talking about here in terms of Jazmine Crockett's district? 750,000 North Texans. Texas's 30th Congressional District, vibrant community in the heart of Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. That's the area she represents as a congressional representative. Earned her BA in Business Administration from Rhodes College.
Okay, the thing is, they're more worried about keeping in black women's good favor than selling the truth. Even Bakari Sellers had to dial it back. Okay, he knew. Bakari Sellers knew that the Democratic Party wasn't representing black men. And he said over the past 25, 35 years, they haven't been representing black men. He knows, okay? He said it. He said it. But he had to say it in a way that Mama could accept it, right? Basically, and this is the shit that goes on with the manosphere, right? They can say anything they want, any way they want, anyhow they want, on any stage, any platform. We're supposed to accept it, right? But the thing is, we have to couch it in terms that they can actually hear and accept, because it's not what we say, it's how we say. It's bullshit, okay? Bullshit. Somebody says, you like bashing black women. I say, yes. Every day and twice on Sunday, right? I pull out the belt on. That's like a black woman don't like me. I pull out the belt, okay? Like just when my kids were small, okay? I could tell you my rule was for every spanking I gave 100 hugs. For every spanking I gave at least 100 hugs. I very seldom spank my children, but guess what? When it came time, okay, for the rod to come out, I didn't spare that rod. If you see that belt coming out, you know you're gonna get an ass whipping. It might be rare, but you're gonna get an ass whipping because you have crossed a line. Basically, you have used up all your appeals by the time that belt comes out. Okay, so I bash black women because they deserve to be bashed. Okay. After all these years of the manosphere, they still don't accept that shaming language has no effect on us and just makes our result. But the thing is, what they're gonna learn because they've been trying to stay away from the manosphere, right? What they're gonna learn is that we will flip their words on them in a heartbeat, okay? And they don't know how to actually battle that, okay? Because they're new. They think that what they did in their ivory towers and behind those gates of academia apply on the street, man. This is street rules, okay? Okay, they're in the corporate office, right? That's where they've been, okay? Now they have to survive on the street with the rest of us, okay? Now they got to get down in the dust on their knees and go hand to hand, right? They ain't trained for that shit. But they're going to learn, okay? They're going to learn. It's not bashing if it's the truth. It doesn't matter. Sometimes the truth. Sometimes you have to beat them over the head with the truth, okay? I bash, okay? I don't pull back. I bash. Whatever you're eating, mystery, boy, it's good as hell. Okay. I don't know what that means, Mr. Him. Chewbacca will protect you, you will be well protected.
And a JD from the University of Houston. She's licensed to practice law in Texas, Arkansas, and the federal courts. So this is an accomplished, well-educated woman. Ain't nothing about her stupid. Ain't nothing about her something to dismiss or disrespect when it comes to her resume. Let's get that out of the way so as to make sure I'm not being disrespectful when we're talking about her, okay? What's her reputation? Crockett's performance in the House, according to research, and her success in delivering wins for her district is quote unquote mixed.
Yes.
She's active, ambitious, and visible, exceptional when it comes to fundraising. But many of her major efforts are still works in progress, bills stuck in committees, introduced but have stalled, etc., according to Congress.gov. I'm just reading. She faced similar difficulties as a state rep.
Yes.
The Texas legislature's sole black freshman had big plans for her first session. She ended up mostly playing defense, according to them. And what the implication was is that while she's great at fundraising, the challenge for her was cultivating relationships in Congress. And what does that mean? Potentially going across the aisle when you don't want to. Potentially going across the aisle, okay, when it might be in the best interest of the...
Yeah, MS Delta, they'll learn that fat meat is greasy, especially when they slip on that beat and land on their ass, okay? When you throw fat meat on the floor and find out that it's greasy, you'll slip on that motherfucker and land on your ass, okay?
750,000 constituents you represent. We know you're a Democrat. We know how disgusting and vile you find the president to be. You've told us on more than one occasion. What I was saying was, where's that going to get you when you're so willing and so apt to verbalize it the way that you choose to verbalize it? How is that going to be productive to your constituents? You have every right to feel the way that you feel about him. You have every right to do everything that you can to vote him out of office, or in his case, the people that are under him, the J.D. Vances of the world, a Marco Rubio of the world, a Pam Bondi, a Kash Patel, and others. You have every right. You should be doing everything you can to win the midterm. But what I'm saying is, where is her rhetoric going to get her and the people she represents?
Actually, he didn't. Actually, a lot of he was actually on the Democratic Party side before the election. Okay, he's an independent. Stephen A. Smith does nothing but attack black men and women and say things like invasion of Palestine is like a real estate agent getting properties and act like he's smart. I had no idea what the fuck that means. Okay? I've been listening to Stephen A. Smith for 30 years, okay? And he goes back and forth, okay? Sometimes he's an activist, sometimes he ain't, okay? When he stands up for black men, nobody says shit, okay? When he stands up for people, nobody says shit. When he has people on, like Bakari Sellers didn't think he was against black men and black women when Bakari Sellers wanted to actually sell his book, did he? Did he? He is smart, okay? How you think he got? Why you think they pay him $10 million a year if he's not smart? Okay, let me ask you this, bruh. Jazmine Crockett, AOC, Bernie Sanders, okay? What have they spoken up against Palestine? Have they? Have they peeped one word, or they vote to actually send bombs and send money over to Palestine, or over to Israel to bomb Palestine? Have they? Does the Democratic Party come out against the genocide in Palestine, which is one reason why they lost? Did they? Did they? I'm gonna ask you, bruh. Since you're a smart ass, did they? I don't care if it's a troll, okay? Did they? Did they? The Jazmine Crockett, nurse, Senator, Congressman, and Ratchet in Chief, okay? Has she said shit about Palestine? Okay? Did the Democrats actually protect the people protesting against the genocide in Palestine, or did they actually go after them? AKA the Democrats, AKA what's his name, right? Okay? He started putting people in jail. They brought out TikTok, banned TikTok because TikTok was actually showing the actual footage from the ground, okay? What's his name? Running for mayor, right? Okay. He's talking more about Venezuela and Cuba than he is about Palestine. Why is that? Huh? Talk to me. No, she didn't. That's bullshit. She didn't protest sending money over to Gaza or sending money to Israel to bomb. Bullshit. Oh, he doesn't have to. Okay, this motherfucker come in. It's talking shit. Man, the Democrats are worse. They're the ones that funded this whole thing. At least Donald Trump is trying to stop this shit. Donald Trump did it. It at the very least got it signed. It took the Qataris to push it, but guess what? Donald Trump at least got the agreements. Made Netanyahu at least signed the agreement, didn't he? Didn't he? Did the Democrats do that shit? Huh? No, they ain't been fighting for thousands of years. I don't care. I don't care if the Israelis and the Palestinians kill each other. Okay, we don't have to fund it. We don't have to pay for it. We done spent $50 billion on them. Research, motherfucker. I follow this shit every goddamn day. Okay, I follow this shit every fucking morning. Okay. Just like she can get in front of a crowd on the floor and speak against Donald Trump every day, she can do that shit for Palestine. Okay, she don't do it. Why? Why? And she's the same one that signed that bill and passed it all, and for the funding bill to give money to Israel and to the Ukraine. Why? Anyway.
Presents in the 30th Congressional District in Texas. What am I talking about? To my producers, could y'all play the clip when she's talking about the president as an enemy of the United States? Could you play that, please?
No, AIPAC does own Jazmine Crockett. Okay, she does. It does. She knows better.
Action to his appointment. He needs to go. I mean, this is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman, to interrupt you, but President Trump, of course, has denied any allegations of white supremacists, and that's why he apparently fired what he. I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beatty in reaction, they believe, in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion?
No, it doesn't change my opinion.
So that's the first clip. There's a president in the United States that you're calling a white supremacist, and you're saying that the people who work under him are that as well. While you're in the government needing assistance from that administration to get things done for your constituency and beyond. Okay, that's clip number one. Play clip number two, please. A full-fledged criminal. Play that, please.
Not our democracy. Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, you know, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
So you care about facts, meaning the Democrats and the Republicans don't. Okay, that's another clip. And by the way, full-fledged criminal and thug. Those were words. How about this one, where she called the president a piece of shit? Play it.
Because the Supreme Court has paved the way for half the stuff that we see that's going on. Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. Yes, he is. He is.
Donald Trump is a piece of shit. That's what she said. That's the third one. There's another one here where she's talking about how the GOP doesn't care about facts, but the Democrats do. You just heard that. There was also another one where she called them again a white supremacist. But it didn't just stop there. She went to her own governor of the state of Texas, who's in a wheelchair, by the way. Keep that in mind.
Right.
And listen to what she said about him.
We in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
Governor Hot Wheels. And the only thing that is hot about him is that he's a hot ass mess. And that's going to serve 750,000 constituency in the 30th District of Texas. That is what I was saying. Never mind what she feels. Never mind whatever level of justification you may have towards feeling.
So they're using piece of shit in the church now?
The way that you feel. When you're in her position, that's not going to get you anywhere. That's what I was saying. What I was saying was this educated, brilliant black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets.
Yes.
And that's fine when you're in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you're at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done? How many of you are able to think that for a second that you...
In other words, black women don't care, okay? They ratchet in the sheets, ratchet in the streets, and they ratchet in the boardroom, okay? And they don't care because they think they're above it. So they think because they've been talking to us like that for 200 years, they can talk like to everybody else like that, okay, with no respect. No respect. And you get mad if you say anything about them or anything about black people, okay, all of a sudden they want to cancel folks, okay? Stephen A. didn't say nothing nearly as bad as what she had said about Donald Trump and everybody else, okay? Nearly. Stephen A. didn't say that Jazmine Crockett's pussy stank, okay? He ain't saying nothing like that, okay? But they have nerve there to talk about little dick energy and think that's going to fly. Go a few more minutes and we're going to get out of here, folks.
You're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill, and that's going to work for you. You literally have senators and congressional figures on Capitol Hill on the side of the Republicans telling the networks, whether it's Fox News, News Nation, or anybody else, please, please, please put her front and center on camera.
Yes, they are.
Why would they do that?
Yeah, because they're laughing at her and she's embarrassing people, okay?
Because they know it wins for them.
Yeah.
And what I was saying was, I appreciate her passion, her intellect, the fact that her heart and her willingness to be courageous and all of those things are in the right place. But my God, isn't it about winning too? Ain't it about getting it done? How about positioning yourself, since Jazmine Crockett was on the record stating that we got to keep our eyes on the federal courts because the conservative federal courts are putting forth rules and regulations, policies, and judicial things that serve to benefit one side of our country, but not necessarily all sides. Well, wouldn't that mean that you'd want to become a judge? You are a lawyer by trade. You are licensed to practice law in Texas, Arkansas, and the federal courts. Wouldn't you be somebody that we'd want on the court, or at least on committees, having a strong arm towards dictating who ends up on the courts, not just the Supreme Court, but federal courts throughout this country? Because that's what senators do, right? Wouldn't you want to position yourself to be able to beat a Ted Cruz or a Senator Cornyn? I'm talking about winning. I'm talking about winning.
Are they getting on the white women that put Donald Trump in office? Are they talking about them? No. They want to talk about black men, which is like 5% of the electorate. They don't go after the white women and have shit to say about white women. Okay, it's always us. It's always because you know what? You know what? You know what? Because it's a what?
I'm done. I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
Nobody else to blame, okay? Liberal black women don't understand how much Crockett hurts them. They don't. It's because they agree with her. They don't care because they think they're talking to black men, okay, instead of everybody else. So now the rest of the world is seeing what black men have to put up with. They really are. That's how the black manosphere is growing. It's because, oh, you guys, this is what y'all have to put up with? And every time Jazmine Crockett and Tiffany Cross and Angela Rye and others say stuff, all we do is clip it and pass it around, okay? We don't have to open our mouths. Well, it ain't all black women and women at a certain level listen to her. Listen to Michelle Obama. Listen to Aisha Curry. Amongst others, okay? Saying the exact same stuff. That's why you lost. That's why you lost in 2024. You lost. And you can't accept defeat, except that you made a mistake. They're still trying to claim that it's everybody else's fault except theirs. Right? They're still trying to claim that it's Jermaine's fault that they lost that election, okay? They're still trying to blame black men some kind of way that it's got to be black men the reason that we are not in power. You sided with the oppressor. Anyhow, a little bit more and we're going to get out of here.
And listen, I voted for Kamala Harris. And I voted for her because I said, even though I wasn't fond of her as a candidate, I certainly thought that she would be more willing to work across the aisle and work with more congressional and Senate representatives.
He voted for Kamala Harris. Ain't that a bitch? All that noise, okay? And he said he was going to vote for her. He said he was going to vote for her.
Then he would. I certainly felt like we wouldn't be hearing words like authoritarianism and dictators and stuff like that. I knew that. So I get where you're coming from. But when you talk about where...
Okay. Is he qualified? What makes you qualified to speak on politics? It's called a voter registration card. It's called a United States citizenship. Okay, it gives you the right to speak out on politics. Okay, that's what makes you qualified. He has a right to say what he wants. Okay. Stephen A. wanted to vote for Trump, but he was scared. Probably so. Who knows? We don't know. Y'all like the video. Got 472 people watching, okay? In other words, what has he said that's out of bounds? What has he said that's out of bounds? Don't have to be qualified, okay? What makes Tiffany Cross and Angela Rye qualified to speak for politics? What makes them qualified? How was Trump the lesser of evil when black men trade and tech was getting mad money? And the thing is, it depends on what side of the fence you're actually sitting on, okay? She was telling it like it is. That's why everything she said checked out. Who the hell are you talking about? Jazmine acts like the typical D-town ratchet that will get loose for some young boy tickets in Crawfish Bowl. Yeah. It's unbecoming of a congressman.
Honest, they're not. Were you honest when you chose Hillary and you shoved aside Bernie Sanders as a party?
Yeah.
Were you honest when you chose Biden?
Yes.
And you shoved aside everybody else because it was his turn?
Yes. Yes.
You're honest when you bypassed a primary and made sure to ensure that Kamala Harris was the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States when all of you knew,
yes.
You knew that Biden was finished. You knew
yes.
he had no business staying in the presidency. You knew that you could have influenced things in a way that would have forced him out. We would have had a primary, and the best candidate for the job would have been running against Trump.
Yes.
This past last November.
Yes.
You knew that.
You knew that.
But like 2016, like 2020, as was the case in 2024, and unlike the Republicans, the conservatives, the elite chose our candidate. The people were bypassed on the Democratic side of the aisle.
Okay.
You circumvented your way as a party around.
Okay, bruh. So, somebody go ahead and give him a done sat, sit him in the corner. Okay. Sit him in the corner.
The election process, and you have the audacity to talk about how others are a threat to democracy. Where's the consistency? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that the Democratic Party hasn't catered to elites every bit as much as they've accused Republicans of doing all of these years.
Yes.
Over the last 3 elections.
Yes.
Tell me that they said we listening to the people and we not just doing what we want to do because we're the one that's control the party and we'll manipulate them. Tell me that they haven't gotten folks.
Speak on it because he was right in the middle of that, right? While they were doing that shit. He knows.
Not specifically y'all, but folks like y'all. To sit up there and label anybody like me or others who would dare question the establishment and how things go down and say, yo, he a sellout.
Yes.
Yo, he don't care. What's up, Willie D? What's up? We want to talk policy? I didn't call you a name. I didn't disrespect you. I didn't diminish you, your intellect, your soul, your heart, your conscience, and whether or not it was in the right place. I'm just talking facts, bro. You in your 50s too, if not older. You're a grown-ass man. What's up? That's it? That's what you got? He's being disrespectful? How am I disrespectful? If Jazmine Crockett was in my face right now, I would thank her for her service to our country, but I would ask her respectfully, how do you think that's going to work?
It doesn't.
Is that going to win the midterms?
No.
You know how they manipulate stuff. You know how they take sound bites. You know how they can make anybody look if you say the wrong things, particularly when you're an elected official. If you're coming across as belligerent, undisciplined, and a loose cannon, how do you then get to say what Trump is?
Yes.
Or the people under him when they act belligerent? Tamika Mallory, respectful woman, Black activist, supporter of Black Lives Matter movement, along with various other things, highly intelligent, incredibly accomplished. I've heard so many wonderful things about this sister. I've read up on her a little bit, nothing but profound admiration. And then I see this. Black men, I have a question. I see a lot of great commentary from many of you on Stephen A. Smith's ignorant statements time and time again. This time he disrespected a powerful Black woman who's putting her life in danger, fighting for us. At what point will you all lead to charge to turn him off? Go ahead and turn me off, ma'am. It's no longer a difference of opinion. Stephen A. Smith's actions are intentional, and in this climate especially, it's dangerous. Just wondering if you all plan to do him like you did the NFL about Colin. Or are we still watching his commentary on Wake Up? We protect Jazmine for us, period.
Here we go.
So, Tamika, don't recall ever meeting you. Never a conversation. You want me canceled because I asked the question, Jazmine Crockett, how is that going to work for you and your constituency? You are a Black woman who is speaking your mind. I spoke my mind about whether or not that strategy is going to work for her and going to work for the Democrats in pursuit of regaining power during the midterm elections and hopefully the presidency in 2028, because I'm not a Republican and I don't have a desire to vote for any of the Republican candidates that I see. And because of that, you want me canceled? You want to rally folks up to go against me? Let's get it on a micro scale. I'm a black man that's not doing for black people? How about the black people I employ? How about what I do with HBCUs? How about what I do within the walls of ESPN? How about the brothers and sisters that I've helped in this industry?
Yes.
All of that gets shoved aside and dismissed because I asked Representative Crockett, how's that going to work for you? Really? It's highly, highly, highly intelligent and accomplished, as you are. That's all that it takes for you to go against everything that has helped make us what we are, that helped get, what were we saying? Whether it's civil rights movement, pre-civil rights movement, post-civil rights movement, it's about having a voice and a connection. It's about having a microphone that resonates. It's about provoking dialogue and introspection. I have this show. You're welcomed on it. Jazmine Crockett's welcomed on it. Roland Martin has been on several times. Angela Rye's welcome on it. D.L. Hughley's welcome on it. Everybody doesn't have a platform. Most people who have a platform don't bring people on who disagree with them. I invite it all the time. But because I have an opinion about what's going to work and what's not, that's what we doing.
They know why they lost, and that's the problem. They can't stand it. The way that Bernie Sanders should be enough for a person with political knowledge to leave them alone. If we know the results of Brad's education system, look no further than Chiisha. Okay, yeah, that's true. Chief Rocker, this situation is another reason why the black church doesn't work for black men anymore. Yep. I was done with Tamika Mallory when she blamed black men for not putting in enough effort to find that girl who was fake kidnapped. Yeah. But when they get called out for it, nobody says anything, okay? But anyway.
When you look at the platforms that I have available to me, have you noticed how many black folks, how many women are suddenly on these platforms over the years compared to what it was before I arrived? Look at the names in power at ESPN, at Disney, at SiriusXM, even at Simon & Schuster.
Mm-hmm.
My book at Simon & Schuster was published through Imprint 13A. Mr. Charles Sue, a black man who is one of the most influential voices in all of publishing. I am quite sure that black people who have worked with me, who have worked for me, who have worked under me, whatever, my bosses, I'm quite sure they don't all agree with every opinion that I say. But they still hired me. And the people that I employ, I still hire them because it's not a requirement that somebody agrees with me in order for me to be allowed over the airwaves. Do you have any idea what you've implied by putting out that tweet? By mere gesture that, Jazmine Crockett, I don't think that's the way to go. If you want to get the most for your constituency, I don't think that's the plan. You have any idea, Ms. Mallory, respectfully, what that implies?
It's because you cannot question mama, okay? Can't question mama. Anyhow, Captain Obvious, okay, at a high level, the messaging against Stephen A. is you can't hold elected officials. No, you can't hold black women accountable, okay? Sounds like a winning platform. Can't hold black women accountable. Black men cannot hold black women accountable, which is why the black manosphere actually exists. Is because we get the same thing over and over again. You cannot hold black women accountable for anything, no matter what they do. There's always an excuse, right? Because it's always Jermaine's fault. Anyhow, y'all, let me get out of here. We're about an hour and a half in. I think that is enough. And I don't know what I'll do tomorrow. People actually want me to do a women's ratings show. I might do it because one guy called this chick a 10. And I looked at her, and she was a 7 at best. And that's when I knew that black men's picker, as far as looks is concerned, is way the fuck off. It's way the fuck off. Black men are not objective about how they see a rating scale as far as women are concerned. They're not, which is fine. But to spend a whole half an hour on off topic about a rating scale, I might do that tomorrow. We'll see. Because I really want to see how black men see a picker, right? Because I've seen guys rate an obvious 4 or 5, okay? I've seen guys rate an obvious 4 or 6, and they rate an obvious 8 down to mid, down to a 5. You know, in other words, sometimes I shake my head, hold my head. You cannot make this shit up. That's why I call y'all stray cats. Something that's clear and visible, okay? It don't matter. It could be the baddest chick on the planet. You still rate her a 5. And it'd be a mid 4, and you rate her an 8. Anyhow, let me get out of here. I love hearing you being honest about the beauty of some of these black women, despite Keisha's actual programming. I salute you for that, okay? Chief Rocker, there's a video of a woman that went toe to toe with the police in Jacksonville. You can't hold them. No, you can't, okay? And it's getting worse, man. It's because, well, the thing is now they're starting to hold her responsible because they started putting Keisha in handcuffs, okay? They're starting to arrest Keisha, just like, what's her name, okay? Sha'Carri Richardson, right? She thought she wasn't going to jail. She thought she actually going to, how come I'm in jail and not him? Because you're the aggressor. You're the one that put hands on him. You want to send him to jail because you put hands on him? Zaddy did create that mess, okay? You know what, man? King Picks, I don't give a fuck what you think, okay? Aisha Curry's a standard industry chick. She's a standard 8, okay? Standard. Cross the board. I was looking at somebody, a couple other people, right? She got the same face, okay? She's just a different color. She's a standard industry chick, okay? A 6 is average, okay? Issa Rae, okay, is a 6. She's just above a 5. She's a 6. If you go back and look at Insecure, okay, outside of the light-skinned girl, they were all basically 5s and 6s, okay? Aisha Curry's not that. Let me ask you, King Picks, what is a 5? Who's a 5 to you? Who's your 5? Who's your average girl? Who would you pick? Who's your average girl? Keke Palmer is a 5, okay? And you're saying that what's her name is one step above Keke Palmer. Is that what you're saying? Who's your 5? Who's your 5? No, Keke Palmer's a 5. Okay, Steph Cole's a 4. Okay, Gabby Sidibe's a 3. Gabby Sidibe's a 3. Steph Cole's a 4. Keke Palmer's a 5. She's right there in the middle. She's average. You guys talk about how fine the Bailey sisters are. Really? Now, the Bailey sisters are dimes, and they so beautiful, and yada, yada, yada. Y'all go crazy over them, right? The Bailey sisters are 6s, okay? Gabby's not a 2, okay? Y'all don't, basically, 2s cover their faces, okay? A 2 will cover their face. If Gabby, okay, there's plenty of disfigured chicks out there will make Gabby look beautiful, okay? She's a 3. So if Gabby's 2, what's a 1? So that chick with half her face burnt off or she's disfigured, okay? Who's a 1, okay? Gabby Sidibe's right next to that. Are you kidding? No, Kiki Palmer is an average 5. She's not ugly. Okay, that's why that's why she's an actor. She's not ugly. She's a 5. There's nothing wrong with Kiki Palmer. She's just a 5. She's just regular. You would not compare Steph Cole or Kimberly Nicole Foster to Kiki Palmer. That's why you guys pickers are way off. They're all over the place. Leslie Jones is a 5. Hell no, Leslie Jones is a fucking 4. Man, are you kidding me? You guys pickers are way off, man. How's Leslie Jones a 5? Leslie Jones wouldn't rate herself as a 5. Leslie Jones is not. Okay, hold on. We'll do this tomorrow, man. We're not gonna do this today, okay? Lizzo is a black men think Lizzo. Black men do think Lizzo is a 7. See this the Bailey sisters are 8s, okay? See what I'm talking about? They think the Bailey sisters are 8s. Ashley Curry's a 7, but the Bailey sisters are 8s. Are you fucking kidding me? Megan Thee Stallion is a 7. With or without makeup, Megan Thee Stallion is a 7. Same thing with Angel Reese, okay, which could be between a 6 and a 7. Okay. You guys have no. When Officer Charles said y'all ain't got no standards, that's what he meant. Nah, y'all don't. You guys really don't know what a 3 looks like. So Leslie Jones is uglier than Gabby Sidibe. Okay. A 1 is so disfigured she can't come outside. That's how bad a 1 is. Okay. Ones don't come outside because they're disfigured. They have to cover their faces. Okay. 2s are just above that. But we'll do this tomorrow. Okay. And Nell Carter's a 10. Tiffany Haddish is a 5. Bailey sisters are 6s at best. I know. No, I seen Megan Thee Stallion without makeup. Megan Thee Stallion doesn't look that much better without makeup. Okay. Hell, y'all think Glorilla's the 10. Half of y'all. And see, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, y'all's pickers is way off, man. If that's all I need to say. If y'all think that the Bailey sisters look better than Aisha Curry, I ain't got nothing else to say. I can't help y'all, man. Okay, you guys have to stay in the darkness. Okay, stay down there in the pit. Okay, y'all born in the darkness. Stay down there. There's a lot of cats that think Glorilla is a 10. See, they think Nell Carter is a 7, a 6 or 7. Really? See what I mean? See, Glorilla's not that bad though. No, after she got her grills and had her with makeup and had herself shaped up, yeah. Glorilla need a lot of. You seen Glorilla before she got enhanced? Are you kidding me? Octavia Spencer is a 9. Octavia Spencer is a 9? Are you kidding? Let me look that up real quick because I'm curious about that myself. See who she is. Ah, that's hilarious. Okay, that is so fucking hilarious. Okay, I know we all are kidding, but that's hilarious. That's hilarious. He's kidding, but that's hilarious. That's funny. And then that's probably some guy will come up there and say Octavia Spencer is a 9. Ah. No, he's joking. Okay, he's joking. Cause I couldn't remember who she was, but he's joking. Okay, Willie R knows better. He's not being serious. Okay. Sanaa Lathan is not a solid 9. Okay. Okay. Let me show you one real, because I was actually looking this up, right? Amara La Negra, okay? And she's a dark-skinned woman, right? Okay? Images, okay? Now, this is her, okay, with her hair, okay, with her natural hair. Okay, let's pick one with, let's pick up Amara La Negra, okay? Who I think is she's an 8+, okay? Okay, she's an 8+. This is her all dialed up, okay? This is her all dialed up, okay? She's model, she's print ready, okay? That's an 8+ or a 9, okay? When she's all dolled up, okay? That's her regular self, okay? This is her regular self. That's an 8+ or 9, okay? That's dark. That's dark, okay? That's an 8+, maybe quasi 9, which is bordering model looks, okay? So when she gets all flied up, okay, gets the hair done, all flied up, she looks like that, okay? Let's put this in a image by itself, okay? Open image in new tab, okay? Let's look at the new tab real quick. Okay, that when they're all flied up, that's a 9. Okay, that's your quintessential 9. Okay, that's the quintessential 9 right there. No, she's not a 9. Okay, Sanaa Lathan is an 8. Okay, she's an 8 at best. She's not a 9. That is the industry standard 9 that you're looking at right now. Amara La Negra. She dark skinned. Okay, she's got her hair pressed out. Okay, she got makeup on, but that is your quintessential 9. Okay, your beauty pageants, model work, that's print work. That's the quintessential 9 right there. Okay, that's a 9. Beyonce's an 8. Journey Smollett would be qualified as a 7. No, she not. She don't have hazel eyes. Okay. Lupita's, yeah, it's questionable. Lupita could be at 8, 7, or 8. Okay. What I'm saying is, y'all can bring up all kind of people. We do that tomorrow. But that if you want to know what a 9 is, okay. I don't think she's quite a 10, but that's a 9. That is a quintessential 9 right there. You want to look what one is? She could basically bordering a 10. Okay, that's it. You put her on a print magazine, a magazine cover, a pinup, all kind of shit. That's a 9. Okay, and they fall below that. Okay, that's why he said that. What's her name? Is a 9? No, she's not. That's a 9. That's not Beyonce. Beyonce don't look like that. The other girls don't look like that. That's a fucking 9, okay? Mine when she was young was an 8, okay? Lisa Ray was a 9 when she was young. But that's the quintessential 9. We put Lisa Ray when she was young and with her face and stuff like that up, okay, she would be a 9. Cicely Tyson was a 6 at best. Cicely Tyson was actually more like a 5 or a 6. Anyhow, no, we do that tomorrow, okay? We'll do that tomorrow. When we're gonna start at the 3s and work our way up on Friday's show, BMI. Put a link to your channel, BMI, before I get out of here, okay? Because I think you and Dr. Dunbar, we talked about the Willie D, not the Willie, but the Stephen A. and Jazmine Crockett stuff. I think it's going to be on Sunday. I don't know what day it's going to be on, but y'all shoot me a link so I can actually hype it up, okay? Anyhow, but the thing is, you asked me what a fucking 9 is. I just showed you what a goddamn 9 is. Everything else falls below that. A lot of chicks, you guys are calling 9s and stuff like that, okay? I showed you what a 9 is. And y'all couldn't argue that, okay? That's a fucking 9. A 9 is basically 1 in 1,000 women for the most part, all right? A 10 should be like 1 in 10,000. If you walk in with a Marla Negra into a party, all the furniture will tilt towards you, okay? That's why you get her. Which is why the white boys are after Lamar Negra and not the black man, okay? That's why she dates white men, because she's from the DR. She's a 9, okay? DC, she's a 9. It's bullshit, okay? Lamar Negra's a 9. I've seen Lamar Negra in her natural hair. I've seen her in pressed hair. Okay, but she's a 9. But that's a 9 all glossed up. Show me a picture of any woman that you consider all glossed up and put her next to a Marla Negra and tell me that they actually match up. She's a 9. Okay. Principal Sweetheart, no, she's not. I just know her. She's, in fact, my girlfriend actually was a cheerleader with her in high school, and I've seen her in person. She ain't no 9, okay? She's like a 7, borderline 8, okay? Tika Sumpter is a 7, yeah. Anyhow, we get out of here, y'all. We ain't gonna do it. The rating show is tomorrow, okay? We get out of here, all right? No, yeah, tomorrow, okay? Y'all can chill out on that shit. But I just want to show you what a fucking 9 is, okay? And the thing is, y'all don't have no proof about the rest of the shit, including Beyonce, okay? Who I think is pretty, but she's not a fucking 9, okay? Not even close. All right, good people.
What can I say? Mamba out.